Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this edition of the Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal International. I'm called Maureen. We'll begin with our top stories. Meat prices have tremendously increased in markets in Cameroon's economic city. Douala cattle traders have blamed the rise on the crisis on the heat. Far north, northwest and east regions, transporters strike the high cost of cattle feed, among others. 20 years after the Sour Beach project was conceived, the materialization phase will soon begin. This following the signing of an agreement between the Douala Port Authority and the City Council this May 4 that marks the official launch of the project that is of great economic importance to Cameroon. Those are major stories. Details right ahead. Good evening once more. Meat prices have tremendously increased in markets in Cameroon's economic city, Douala. Cattle traders have blamed the rise on the crisis hit a far north region of Cameroon. The northwest east regions transporters strike the high cost of cattle feed, among others. Gladys Ambo Tibang visited markets in Douala, the slaughterhouse and the cattle market, and put together the following reports.
4,000 and 4,500 CFA francs. The cost of a kilogram of boneless meat in markets in Cameroon's economic city, Douala, a record high that has left butchers scandalized. At the slaughterhouse in Bonandale, Douala, the situation is different, with a slightly higher cost.
Those who are going to buy now, they buy expensive, and they sell for us also are retailing expensive. For now, us here who say in abattoir with bone, we can give it for 2,500. Without bone, we can give it for 3,000.
Cow that we used to buy 200,000 francs. Now we are buying them for 350,000 francs or 400,000 francs. That's why the money is not coming out. But we have increased the price. Although we have increased the price, we are not still again seeing the money.
This has forced many households to reduce the quantity of meat they consume. It is difficult. Before, with 1,500 CFA francs, we could purchase half a kilogram of meat and manage to prepare food for the family. But now, with 4,000 CFA francs a kilogram, it is difficult. We are obliged to reduce the quantity of meat we consume from 1 kilogram to half a kilogram. The high cost of cows have been blamed on insecurity in the Grand North and East regions, where about 80% of cattle are transported from into Douala and Yaoundé, kidnappings and ransom demands, cattle transhumance, and the high cost of cattle feed. Further,
due to the crisis of Northwest and Southwest, it affected us here. Why? Because Bamenda market, which was used to hold on Thursday, we used to enjoy the market of Douala here on Friday. So the cows are not more coming. We have Adamawa, that is in Mayo Banyo, where cows used to come from Banyo. They are not more coming. We have cows from east, that's Bertois. They are not more coming.
We heard that because the drivers of the transporter of the cows are having problem on the way to carry the cow to the cattle market. Say there are too much settlement of controls on the way.
At these cattle markets in Bonaberi, Douala, cows now cost between 300,000 CFA francs and 1.2 million francs CFA, an increase of at least 200,000 CFA francs per cattle.
The animal for 350,000, the animal for 500,000, right up to 1 million.
As a result, the number of cows slaughtered has drastically dropped at the slaughterhouse by 400 cows
And one of the committee members of the cattle market in Bonaberry in Cameroon's economic city, Douala, Amadou Sharidu, has expressed dismay that the current price increase is not only affecting households but also affecting traders. Let's take a listen.
For 25 years, we have never seen this type of prices. Yeah, in short, we know cattle have so many destinations here in Cameroon. But due to the crisis of Northwest and Southwest, it affected us here. Why? Because Bamenda market, which was used to hold on Thursday, we used to enjoy the market of Douala here on Friday. So the cows are not more coming. We have Adamawa, that is in Mayo Banyo, where cows used to come from Banyo. They are not more coming. We have cows from east, that's Bertois. They are not more coming. All those are cows whereby elevated by that traditional breeding. When they talk of traditional breeding, means that there are grasses, cows go and feed themselves, come back to the house alone. But now, we have 70% of cows coming from the northern sides, where we used to say it's Sahara Desert. They have no grasses. They feed their cows with feed. This type of feed they feed their cows with are just chaps. You know, the cotton, you have cotton chaps, we have chaps from this corn and so on. But the prices of those chaps have been increased. We have a bag of chaps which was bought at 7,000 francs. Now it's up to 28,000 francs. We have even this local one, local meat, which was sold at 2,000 francs. We have them now at 5,000 francs. So those are some of the principles that make the cows. So we have never seen a cow sold at 1,100,000 francs here. But we witnessed it here last week. So butchers and sellers are all crying. So I don't know who is benefiting now from cattle.
Which means price increase.
Price increase per cow is about 200,000 francs.
20 years after the Sawa Beach project was conceived, its materialization phase will soon begin. This following the signing of an agreement between the Douala Port Authority and the City Council this May 4, which marks the official launch of the project that is of great economic importance to Cameroon. More in the following story.
After validation of feasibility studies of the Sawa Beach project some years back, here comes its concretization phase. The penning down of signatures of the General Manager of the Douala Port Authority and the Douala City Mayor. This May 4 marks the official launch of the Sawa Beach project initiated since 1983.
La caractéristique du port de Douala est qu'il s'agit d'un port qui est dans une ville. Et les activités du port impactent sur la ville, autant que les activités de la ville impactent sur le port.
La dimension socio-culturelle qui l'entoure, avec l'obligation de prendre en considération les préoccupations majeures des populations.
Both the city mayor and the general manager of the Douala Port Authority emphasized on the project objectives to exploit the maritime zone by constructing high-level hotels and other infrastructures which will be of great economic importance to Cameroon. The project will touch Bonapriso and its environ, notably Bois de Senche and Yupwe. Patrice Metote is an inhabitant of Yupwe. He has been following up the project very closely.
What I'm hearing today is that the state is continuing what he has promised to the people. So I'm very happy for that. So this is phase 1. We expect that phase 2, where we are concerned in Yupwe, will be open like this phase 1. So I'm very hopeful that the population are continue to be safe, because the state never forget the population of Yupwe.
The Sawa Beach project is designed to showcase Cameroon to foreign investors and fortify the country economically to effectively compete with other towns in Africa where similar projects are ongoing.
Civil engineers in Cameroon have emphasized on the need to have qualified professional Cameroonian civil engineers to contribute to the modernization drive in the country. The National Order of Civil Engineers met recently in Douala to discuss about the profession. More in the following story with our reporter Gladys Ambodiba.
To prevent the rampant collapse of buildings, the poor construction of roads and other infrastructure in Cameroon due to bad designs and wrong use of material, faulty constructions, extraordinary loads, foundation failures and wrong calculations, the role of the civil engineer is essential for Cameroon's modernity.
It's very important to understand that in our country, you need to involve civil engineers in all our projects. The necessity to have the distinguish between civil engineers and other people that we need in the construction industry.
I participated in the building of the Douala-Yaoundé highway from the beginning to the end. And so we take satisfaction. The same thing happened when we were constructing the Simaleng airport. So we feel happy that we're doing something for the development of our nation.
At the 24th Ordinary General Assembly of the National Order of Civil Engineers that held in Douala, April 29, 2022, to make assessments and projections, the president of the order emphasized on the need for qualified and professional civil engineers. He revealed that at least 500 civil engineers hit the job market annually from the 6 recognized training schools in the country.
We have many training schools for initial training of a civil engineer in Cameroon, and we work together with these schools to implement the quality in all the courses.
While commending engineers for the successful construction of infrastructure that hosted the Shan and AFCON 2021, they were encouraged to make use of technological advancement and techniques to obtain desired goals.
With the advancing in technology, the engineers have better tools at their disposal, better equipment to perform, and they can do tests which the previous engineers didn't test.
It was an occasion to integrate new civil engineers into the national order. They were reminded of the fundamental values of the Corps, that is, competence, responsibility, sense of ethics, and social commitment.
And we take you to the southern part of Cameroon, where the Batangas each year commemorates the return of their ancestors. The event was marked by artistic works portraying the descendants of this population with the different chiefs who have ruled over the clan. More on the story with our reporter, Saleh Sharifa.
The Batanga population valorized their culture by commemorating the deportation of their ancestors.
To restore our soul, yes, with the idea that we lose lots of people, of parents in the war, this first war. Okay. Now it's just the reminding, the memory. By that way, we also promote our culture.
Adorned with beautiful traditional colors, the Mbuamanga Party Hall hosts what is known as the Lohove Kribi Expo, an innovation this year advocated and instituted by the Queen Michelle Gael Mahove, paramount leader of the Batanga people. People who come here come to embrace our history, discover our culture, who are the Batangas, and what their past is all about. The artistic works portray the descendants of the Batanga people with their different chiefs who have ruled over the clan. Paramount leader wishes to promote the rich history of the culture and tradition of Batanga.
And out of the country, the Supreme Court, a leak on a draft on abortion has caused a firestorm in the United States that may overturn the Roe versus Wade case. Abortion has been legal in the United States for 19 years, for 49 years after the landmark Roe versus Wade case. The leaked draft opinion from the Supreme Court is getting mixed reactions already.
look into embryology, the more you'll realize they're not just stem cells, they're human beings. So immediately I was against it, but I assumed people like me who are left-wing, feminist, secular would be against it because, you know, killing the most vulnerable of all human beings is anything but left-wing or feminist.
As a teenager, I had an illegal abortion. I was lucky, I was white, I was privileged, I had the money to do it and the support of my family. And then as an adult woman, when birth control failed me, my husband and I made the choice to have a legal abortion. And I'm horrified that that decision would be stripped away from my grandsons and granddaughters.
The idea we're letting the states make those decisions, localities make those decisions, would be a fundamental shift in what we've done. So it goes far beyond, in my view, if it becomes a law and if what is written is what remains. It goes far beyond the concern of whether or not there is the right to choose. It goes to other basic rights, the right to marry.
And that was it for this edition of the Primetime Newscast in the English language and Canal International. Thanks so much for watching. We have news in the French language at exactly 7 p.m. Alain Gislain Kangas from you'll be back same time tomorrow. Good night.